What's up guys, STF Gaming here, back again with another retro deck profile. This is going to be the T-Hero deck that was played in the last video I just posted, T-Hero vs. Dupe Machine Beatdown. This is the 2007 format. Very aggressive format. I've done, I think, 2 or 3 other deck profiles on this format in the past. The match I got up on YouTube was not actually that aggressive, but this is a very aggressive format. So here's the deck list. I want you to kind of take a look at it, look at all these tribute monsters. It was never one of my favorite decks of the format. I always opted for like more consistent decks like Machine Beatdown, but this was a very explosive deck, and a lot of people considered it the best deck of the format. So without further ado, let's get into explanations. Alright, so first of all we got the D-Mock, Dark Magician of Chaos. This card is quite interesting in this deck because it is a level 8 for Metamorphosis, which is great. You can sack it for a Cyber Twin. Also, you run the one of Dasher, which we'll get to later, so if you top deck this, you are going to be able to special summon it for free. Also, you get cards like Malicious and Brain Control to maybe you can tribute summon it, or maybe even mill it with Card Trooper or Snipe Hunter and Call the Haunted, Premature Burial, stuff like that. I guess almost all of those instances could be said about Jinzo too. Obviously, he's 1 tribute less, so easier to summon. Not too many traps this format, but there are some powerful ones like Ring and Call, which can really end the game quick. And he's just great with Call the Haunted, especially because like they use like Heavy Storm when you call, and you just chain the Call on the Jinzo. Call dies, Jinzo doesn't. Then this card is pretty much staple of a 3 of in every deck. Something I like to note when doing these retro deck profiles is that Cyber Dragon there is no Chimera Tech over Dragon, so people can't just eat machines with them. And this is pretty much the key card of the deck. So pretty much Card Trooper and all the Destiny Heroes from a Duels pack, I think it was like 4 and 5 or 5 and 6. They all came out at the same time, and it was around this era, and they pretty much defined this format. And Malicious was, I mean, one of those defining cards from those 2 Duelist packs. And then you get the Dasher. Dasher's great because he, in the worst case scenario, if you want to like tribute summon it, it can attack for like 31. It works great with like your scapegoats and stuff, where you can just sack them to give him more attack points, or you can sack your Maliciouses to give him more attack points. Also tutorable by Stratos, obviously, and discardable by Destiny Draw and all the discard outlets like Snipe Hunter. But this is my least favorite thing about this deck. There are just so many tributes, and that you are going to see it in these games. I mean, this deck is going to win a lot of games just out of explosiveness, but I mean, with all these tributes, you're bound to get some really dead hands, and that's where a card like Morphing Jar will come in. You know, maybe your opponent's going to use Dust Shoots and Confiscations to wear your hand apart. Morphing Jar can build you back. Maybe your opponent's is afraid to play into heavy, so they don't set all their back rows. Flip Morphing Jar, get value. Morphing Jar is great in formats like these, really aggressive, and you can get your resources back quickly when it really matters. Next, you got the Sangan. Can tutor most of the cards like in the deck, like Malicious or Snipe Hunter. Snipe Hunter is great because this is one of the most clunky formats of all time, and you can really just pitch whatever you need. And clear the board for some game shots, which this deck can definitely do. Stratos, tutor a whole bunch of D-Heroes, and not much else to say. Stratos, broken. Fearmonger, kind of the worst D-Hero in this deck in my opinion. At the time, I think people could have got away without running it, but I think the issue is that people were still new to Destiny Heroes, and they thought they needed like 6 in their deck, but come Teledev format, people still run the 3D draws, but they only have like 5 D-Heroes, so the D-Hero count kind of drops a year or 2 later. People realize they don't need as many D-Heroes, but it is obviously great with this card, Disc Commander. I mean, if your Disc Commander's engraved and they attack your Fearmonger, you can special summon Disc Commander and get some draws, so that's pretty much the Destiny Hero engine. You saw all the D-Heroes. Disc Commander's great, just get a lot of draws, and easy to mill with cards like Trooper. So this is Troop Dupe format. Obviously, you're going to run 3 Trooper, along with at least 1 duplication. So that's all the monsters. It's kind of a lot of monsters, I do believe. And now, what I like to consider about this format is that it's super spell heavy. So you're going to see a lot of spells here. Scapegoat's really good defense because, you can just get game shotted out of nowhere. Good answer to like Snipe Hunter or Jinzo or Chimera Tech, Overdragon, or Giant Trunade Heavy. The list goes on. Pot of Avarice, kind of like Morphing Jar, you know. Games can be quick. I don't know, just get your resources back. Works great with Trooper. Heavy, let me get to the... this deck doesn't run Trunade, that's right. Heavy, just get rid of some back rows for game shots. Same thing with MST, good answer to like Call the Haunted, Snatch Steal, stuff like that. 2 Brain Control. It's really good for pushing damage or tribute summons. 2 Metamorphosis. We're going to talk about the extra deck later. But yeah, you just get more pushy plays, especially Malicious. You can turn your 800 Malicious into something more meaningful, which is relevant. And you can turn your opponent's Brain Control monsters into something instead of giving the monster back to them. 3D draws, it's a Destiny Hero deck. Destiny Hero machine deck, kinda, I guess, but yeah, that's what it is. And then you get the limiter because there's a lot of machines and you can metamorphosis into some even more machines. And again, it's a pushy aggro deck, so just that can get some really high swing damage. And then you get Rhoda for all the warriors, mostly Stratos. Nullman, really good card this format, so just use it. Premature Burial, great with Demok, great with Stratos, great with Card Trooper, great with this Commander, great with Jinzo. Great with everything, pretty much. Snatch, these two are pretty much staple in every format they're legal. One thing I don't like is 1 machine dupe. I'd probably cut something from this deck. Maybe a Nullman. Maybe just something else. I have to look over the deck, but I think you should be running 2 dupes in every Card Trooper deck. And here are the 4 traps. Nothing too much to explain there. Calls, just like Prima in trap form. Ring is really annoying. Get game shots out of nowhere. And Tarantula Mirror. So that's the deck. And let's get on to the fusion deck real quick. Just assume there's 3 of everything. You can even run more cards. Like your fusion deck could be 1 million cards back in the day. There was no 15 cap. So Dark Bolter, great level 5. So isn't this guy. I don't really want to talk about anything in the extra deck. I mean, you can read these cards on your free time, but I believe this one's level 8, so it's really good for Demok because this card can blow up monsters on the board. This one's level 6. This is one of the most important cards in the extra deck, and it's a normal monster, but what it is it's a machine, so it could turn your Malicious into 2200 damage, or if you have limit removal, it can turn your Malicious into 4400 damage out of nowhere, which is a lot. So that's it was like a sneaky card that not everyone knew about, and it was great with limiter. This card's great to remove cards from grave like Malicious. This card's great too, he's level 6. This card is legal, and you get it off Demok, and it is 1 million damage with limiter, or just 56 on its own. Very relevant. And I don't know, if you steal level 7, look how damage this is. So that's the deck profile, guys. Really crazy format. Really love this format. It's one of my favorite formats to play just because games are semi-quick, super aggro, but there's some skill. No, not the most skill. I mean, it's better than like Chaos Yada, stuff like that. So I hope you enjoyed. Stay tuned for more duel videos and deck profiles to come up soon.